So we're in 2026 now. By 27, you think there'll be AGI amongst us.
Mhm.
How will life look at all different? Like, what will be the symptoms of that world? Is it just a slight increase in unemployment?
I think there will be a very serious differentiation between those who plug into AGI and those who don't.
What is the symptom that we notice? Is when we look at the news or whatever?
You'll see people like you and I building a company in 6 weeks, and people that are not fully plugged into AI really struggling to find a job.
Okay, so unemployment is going to be the key symptom in 2027.
Yeah, and also I think on the positive side, you're going to see incredible scientific discovery. One of my predictions, not in those envelopes, but science itself is just, we're opening up Pandora's box, to be honest.
By 2030, what do you expect the symptoms of AI to be?
So jobs, as I said, I'm bold a little bit on this, on the fact that 30% of jobs would disappear by 2028. Okay, of some sectors, not all sectors, by some sectors will disappear by 2028.
So up to 30% of jobs will be gone in 2027 to 2028. 30% of jobs
of certain sectors of jobs. So if you think about call center agents, okay, yeah, probably. If you think about graphics designer, yeah, probably.
What do you think that looks like in terms of unemployment, but also like societal impact?
Horrible.
I think the Great Recession had 6%.
Yeah, we've never seen numbers like this.
Jobs lost. Yeah, it said even economists who project just a net loss of about 6% of US jobs by 2030, they are mirroring the severity of the Great Recession.
Yeah.
The real danger is a hiring freeze on entry-level white-collar jobs. AI automates the grunt work, which means companies are shrinking their teams and cutting off the bottom rung of the corporate ladder for the next generation of workers.
Correct. We have an entire generation that is out of college today that will struggle, unfortunately. And my advice to them is learn the tool and focus on human-centric jobs.
Like what?
Like playing jazz.
I mean, not a lot of people can make a living from playing jazz.
I understand that, but a lot of people can make a living by being a nurse or by being a counselor or by being anything that connects to humans. But I just want to constantly come back to this. None of that has to happen. If there really is a democracy and the government is supposed to do what's good for the people need to stop letting this from happening.
Which people?
Everyone.
Everyone in China?
China's not going to struggle as much as the West. I can guarantee you that.
I think this is the question people come back to is, well, if the US stops, then we're going to end up being China's lapdog. We're going to end up...
You already are.
There's a lot of people that I know that are using Chinese AI models to do their work because, for whatever reason, because they're cheaper, they're better in some respects.
And because I cannot guarantee what American AI models are going to do to me. So Emma, my startup is running literally model agnostic. So one day I'll plug in, an OpenAI ChatGPT 4.0 open source, and the next day I'll plug in DeepSeek, and I cannot guarantee if America continues to build, to make compute more expensive. I cannot guarantee that I can run a business on something that I don't know the cost of in the future.
So the US can't just stop, can they?
They need to change approach. And by the way, the more interesting side is, what are the other economies doing? Like, is the UK going to continue to import compute? Is this, welcome to Africa, welcome to the third world.
But this is what I mean. Like, so you're saying also that then every nation needs to invest.
100%. Every nation, and it's quite interesting. There is so much open source that is not the state-of-the-art frontier model, but that can do 80% of the tasks that the frontier model is doing.
But on this point of companies competing with each other, there's an inherent need to compete here and to go. That's what I'm hearing is like there's an inherent need to go as fast as you can, or you will become a third world country.
Sure. 100%.
You're saying that the people should stop that?
No, so I'm saying the people of the UK need to go to the UK government and say, how are you protecting the future of our economy? right? Are you going to continue to import technology and to empower import of technology versus changing your regulations so that innovation becomes easier here?
Okay.
So, I mean, think of it this way. Remember that Anthropic bubble when you said all of the SaaS model applications were, being basically threatened because anyone can build an Oracle ERP today, right? Why is nobody building an Oracle ERP in the UK, saving the UK massive licenses that go to Oracle every year?
Okay, so you're saying that the people should go and ask the government to invest more in AI?
100%. That's what number one. Number two is...
But then their jobs go.
But you see, the most interesting job going forward is being an entrepreneur. Is using those tools to replace an economy that we've built over trillions of dollars over the last 50 years.
But not everyone can be an entrepreneur, though, no?
Everyone can be an entrepreneur in something.
But those entrepreneurs need to hire people.
That's a change that I think is about to happen.
Like even in my business, I'm always going to have to hire people.
Yeah, but you're a massive business. A shoemaker is not an entrepreneur. Is also an entrepreneur, but not a massive business. A little restaurant is also an entrepreneur, but is not a massive business.
They still need to hire people, though.
They do, but basically, if you're a cafe with you and your wife as baristas, you don't. This is also an entrepreneur.
Can the economy work in such a way where everybody is an entrepreneur?
It did before capitalism changed that around.
Everyone was an entrepreneur.
Of course. In the earlier days, you raised chicken and sold eggs, and others, grew tomatoes and so, traded them for your eggs. That actually is a very interesting thing. Imagine that, huh? Imagine a world where there is so much power concentration at the top and UBI for everybody else. How do you think that world will respond when all their income is UBI? They'll respond by doing things on the side. They'll respond by going back to a barter economy. They're going back to smaller communities. They're going back to pop and mom's shops.
So the point was, you said this doesn't need to happen.
It does not need to happen.
Which is the job loss.
Or the arms race.
But we're telling our governments, you're saying that to tell the UK government to join the arms race.
I'm telling the UK government to create an independence within the UK economy so that they don't have to be at the receiving end of technology.
Which is join the arms race.
You don't have to compete against anyone else. You don't have to be better than anyone else. You don't have to. You're simply saying, I can build those things in my economy now.
But I'm not going to use a terrible UK AI as a UK person if there's a great US AI. I'm going to use the great US AI. So if you don't compete and win, I'm not going to use you. That's what,
I'm not saying replace the frontier models. These are as we speak, these are very compute intensive, they're infrastructure intensive, and so on. I'm saying replace Microsoft Word. Seriously, how much intelligence do you need to build a software that writes documents?
I can do that. We've built our own applicant tracking system
For
here.
Sure.
We build our own software.
Now, just ask yourself how much money is spent in the US, in the UK government, or in the UK corporate space on licenses of software that you and I can vibe code in 4 minutes.
I'm thinking from the UK's perspective, because what's interesting with the UK is the economy is struggling from a growth perspective.
Correct.
And I was watching this documentary the other day that was saying the reason why we keep throwing our leaders out is because actually what they need to do to turn the UK round is about 15 years of pain. And it's it starts with energy transformation. We need to get better we need cheaper energy because we have some of the most expensive energy in the Western world. We need to build more houses, which means that we're going to need to centralize permitting for building houses, and it can't just be local boroughs deciding if they keep their farms or not. We're going to need to make TLDR. It says that there needs to be some painful decisions made for the next 15 years. But the problem with our democracy is that when people are in power for 4 years, they're quite short-termist. We'll just talk about the boats, the brown people coming across the seas. They don't have the room to think long-term. And so when I'm thinking about what the UK needs to do to not fall into decline and to keep up, I'm trying to get clarity on that, which, as it relates to AI. Are you saying that they need to join the arms race and double down and invest all their money in building competitive AI so that people use our technology here in the UK versus America's? Because the software point, the UK aren't going to get involved in software. I mean, they've tried to build software before the UK.
The world has changed. Two points, right? One side is that there needs to be a replacement cycle of our investment decisions anywhere in the world. Okay. So when you say we don't have enough money for, we need to revamp our energy infrastructure, when you say we need to build more housing, okay, one way of doing that is squeezing that budget out of other areas. The other way of doing that is either cutting cost in the economy elsewhere so that you can redirect that money, or growing the economy so that you can have more money to build those things. Correct? The cutting cost, I believe, I don't have the numbers, but we could probably run a deep search on it. Trillions are being paid in traditional systems that are complete, like genuinely, they can be, and by the way, I'm not asking the government, I'm asking some of the people listening to me right now to build an ERP system, a word processor, a presentation player, and a spreadsheet. Okay, and just go around and spread them across find retail systems, find CRM systems. These are easy replacements. They're going to be better interfaces. They're going to be much more effective. Build a general ledger using AI so that you can close every hour, not every month or every quarter.
But the world economy is doing that. So there's some kid in San Francisco now that's allowing all of us to use his new word for free.
Keep doing that, and and welcome to the third world.
Keep doing what?
Keep importing all of your tech from elsewhere.
But we don't want to be uncompetitive. Like if you think about, if we go to, I don't know, North Korea, I bet they have way worse tools in many areas because they won't use external tools. And that means that they are at a disadvantage. So I bet they're not allowing their civilization to use Gemini or ChatGPT or Grok. I bet.
For sure.
And they're using something worse.
And you know what's happening? I mean, look at Iran and how advanced they became through sanctions by being refused to use those technologies. They had to build them themselves, right? Look at China. Look at Russia. When I worked at Google, Russia was protective of Yandex, the competitor of Google, from one side because of influence, because they didn't want an American organization to own the knowledge sharing of their citizens. But on the other side, economically, if you made it difficult for Google to operate freely, that by definition meant you had to invent a replacement on the ground.
Which was worse.
Yandex is not worse.
I'm saying, so if you think about is global competition going to produce a better product than regional competition?
It depends on where in the stack of the quality of that product you need to be, right? You do not need the ultimate, ask yourself this, which version of Gemini are you using?
The most recent one. And I'm every day I compete
and that
with
is
Claude.
You. Ask everyone else what version of Gemini they're using. Most people will say, oh, Gemini has versions, right? You don't need the ultimate super frontier model to do 90% of the tasks. And most people do only 70% of the tasks.
But even so, the world moves with whatever's better. So if you think about the reason why we don't use Yahoo search, Google search is marginally better. It's, it's not 1,000 times better, but over time we move away from AOL to Google because it's a better product. And there's a slow, my dad probably still using ChatGPT, but when I go home for Christmas this year and I go, Dad, you should use Gemini, and he starts messing around with it, he'll slowly migrate. I'm like an early adopter, so 4.8 on Claude came out last night. I'm on there within 25 minutes of the announcement.
Of course, I'm there as soon as I can, but that's you and I.
Yeah, and we are an indicator of where the world is going because we're at the coalfront figuring out what's better. And also, I think with technology, eventually there does become the gap between first and second begins to widen. I think we're in a bit of a race at the moment, but I think it is a bit of a winner-takes-all situation with these frontier models.
I think we're talking about two bits of technology, okay? Tell me, how far has PowerPoint advanced since 2023? They added Copilot. Anything else?
So you're saying that the UK should build their own PowerPoint?
For sure. There is. What I'm trying to say is that from a licensing point of view, just licensing of software within government alone, How much money is being repatriated?
If the UK tried to build their own, do you know they tried to build their own COVID app and it cost them, I think, okay, these numbers will be wrong, but they're like directionally true. It cost them 70 million to build a COVID app that didn't work.
I remember.
And so they canned it.
I remember.
They can't build fucking software.
I'm asking a UK entrepreneur to wake up tomorrow and say, all right, you know what? Between coffee and my cookie, I'm going to build a PowerPoint and go sell it.
Yeah, they will. And they'll go to San Francisco where the money is and the talent.
Yeah,
they won't be able to compete. They'll get crushed tomorrow. So if they don't go where the talent and money is, I'm not saying that they all have to go to America, but I'm saying what they will do if they want to produce the best product is they'll make rational entrepreneurial decisions about where to sell it, where to raise money, where they're going to get the best talent. And I think if they don't make those competitively minded decisions, they're not going to make the better product. They're not going to get any users. Users will go where it's better and where it's cheaper. They won't say, "Oh, I want to use this because it's from Cornwall."
Yeah, so I'm with you, right? That this actually might be the big corporate think, okay? And I'm with you that, of course, the infrastructure here of building a startup is way more complex than it is in other places where startups succeed, okay? I'm saying if we continue on that trajectory, whether in the UK or in Germany or in, Zanzibar, welcome to Africa. All of us, everyone but the two competitors, China and America, is going to be third world. So when you talk about job losses for individuals, that's one side, okay? But nation positioning losses, which I think Europe has noticed recently, is about to happen everywhere. And why? Because you're saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we can't do it. Why can China do it? Why can Korea do it? Is not because they have different natural resources or not because they are, in a place where it's warmer. It's because their regulations, their ambitions are to empower something different than debating about, railway lines or...
They have a couple of big advantages that I was reading about. One of them is they have way cheaper energy, which means that they're going to be able to pursue...
Why, may I ask?
Because they've invested in solar power, renewable energy.
Correct.
Because they don't care about...
This is, by the way, I say that publicly. I say that the arms race of AI was won a long time ago.
And then the other thing is, in terms of permitting, if you want to build a data center in the UK, listen, if you want to open a cafe in the UK, it's gonna be war for you. If you want to do that in California, this is why everyone's left California. Like when I took this office in California recently, I was like, so how long is it going to take for me to renovate this? And the agent looked at me and was like, to renovate my own office, it's going to take me a year. And it's permitting to renovate my own office in California. So if you're competing with China, where President Xi just goes, put that there and you've got 7 days.
No. That's not only that. So I used to be one of the very few Google executives allowed into government meetings in China, simply because I'm from emerging markets, so I understand respect, basically. I would say it's to sit there, not as if I'm superior to them, but as if I'm really interested to learn from them. And genuinely, Stephen, when I would sit in those meetings, all in Chinese, they would show slides that have competitive market share. So they'd say, it's not like China is this, America is this, Germany is this from market share point of view. It was China versus the world, right? And when they would decide to go for something, 5G, Internet of Things, all of that stuff, they would aim for 98% market share.
Yeah.
Right. And they get there. I mean, look at how they did electric cars.
Yeah.
And my question is very simple. We've spoken so much about AI. My question is, are the people of the West going to wait?
So this is an interesting conundrum, because it sounds to me like you're saying on one end, if we don't join this AI race, then we're a third world country. But on the other end, if we continue this sort of thoughtless race towards AGI, there's going to be catastrophe at some point.
And the answer is somewhere in the middle, where basically you join the AI race for the good of your community. Okay, so there is resignation on one side, is like, I'm not going to play this game at all. There is offense on the other side where I'm playing this game to destroy everyone else. And there is a balance in the middle where we say we're going to build an ethical form of AI that's going to help our communities. We're going to use this ultimate gift, this ultimate superpower, right? Superman landed on the planet. Raise it to help your community.
Is that wishful thinking to some degree when you think about the nature of sort of competition?
I don't know how to tell you otherwise. I genuinely believe I genuinely believe it's going to be very difficult to make that change. Okay? I genuinely believe that it's going to be that when the challenges of an AI dystopia hits us, we're not going to be ready. But I can't stop talking about it, Stephen. Do you understand where I stand with this? I just am hoping, and I tried so hard. I spoke to the leadership. Then I spoke, like, one of the things that my Atlantic Productions, who helped me with the film, did for me, which I have to say, completely, I am very appreciative of this, is, through our conversations, the last few years, that I tended to, at a point in time, lose hope in the leadership. And basically try to influence the public for ethical AI, okay? And my conversation was that the leadership at the time was the technical leadership, and that everyone was so caught up in the arms race that I wanted to teach the public to help us build ethical AI. And I continue to focus on the public, every one of us, but suddenly Atlantic goes, no, hold on, we should probably get you to meet the political leaders everywhere in the world and hopefully give them a message that says, hey, you know what? You may actually make a difference if you prioritize AI differently, right? Do I believe this will happen? Sadly, no. But does that mean I should stop trying? I cannot stop trying.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.